Is Huawei still stocked with chips? Huawei will be able to manufacture semiconductors in the near future. When more and more people are skeptical about Huawei chips, Mr. Lan Zongfei, Huawei's founder, stated in a recent internal Huawei meeting that Huawei will do all it takes to help the HiSilicon firm continue to rise to the top. Huawei has only one goal: to be on the cutting edge of technology in order to breach the Western embargo. Before we begin today's video, please subscribe to our channel. It encourages us to make more videos. Well, let's continue what we're talking about. As a local Chinese, Huawei did not have the technical background of the Chinese Academy of Sciences when it was founded. Huawei started from a very low base, and the main reason why it can leave Lenovo far behind after 30 years is Huawei's self-investment in core technology huge. According to publicly available information, in recent decades, Huawei's R&D investment has reached 870 billion yuan, greatly above that of other Chinese domestic firms. Huawei's HiSilicon R&D team has developed not only 5G chips, but also a series of processors such as Kirin Disk and Linhin for smartphones and other scenarios, and these core technologies have enabled Huawei to reach the top level in many fields such as 5G. However, this has irritated the United States. The most ethical option for China to consolidate its technological superiority would be to play catch-up and level the playing field in fundamental technologies. Instead, the U.S. has frequently changed its standards in order to put a technical embargo on high-tech Chinese firms. Since TSMC canceled its semiconductor foundry services to Huawei, the company's smartphone business has been nearly halved, with more than $200 billion in revenue lost and its position dropping out of the top 10 in less than a year. Following the traumatic experience of U.S. sanctions, while abandoning the backward concept, China has increased its investment in the semiconductor industry, determined to achieve chip self-sufficiency. In addition, Huawei has announced a full-scale entry into the semiconductor field, with its Hubble investment company making a large number of investments in domestic semiconductor companies. What are the three possible causes behind Huawei's failure to enter the chip manufacturing market as expected? Huawei chooses to overcome the impasse by investing in and supporting the entire growth of the local chip industry chain, collaborating with friends and businesses from other industries in China to create chips. This is not only more efficient and less dangerous, but it will also become Huawei the world's largest semiconductor producer once a market system is established. Second, in last month's Huawei results and profits report, Huawei's rotating CEO Guoping disclosed the direction of Huawei's chip breakthrough, indicating that the future of multi-core chip architectural solutions would become Huawei's major force. This means that even if Huawei does not develop its own semiconductor plant, the breakthrough blockage of the U.S. chip will not be affected. Perhaps there is still a significant difference between local chip plant technology and Samsung's technology, but using existing technology. After the development of the tiny chip technology system, sufficient to meet the majority of chip demands, not to mention the rapid expansion of domestic chip manufacturers. From this standpoint, Huawei's decision not to enter the field of asset-heavy chip manufacturing is a wise one. After all, there are clearly better ways to solve the chip problem. If you do not take a stable path, you must take all of your food reserves out of the risk, or you will fall into the trap of the United States. Huawei has made significant contributions to the domestic market in a variety of fields, including 5G communications, cloud computing, operating systems, and so on. It would be an imposition to force Huawei to expand local chip manufacturing, Therefore, we shouldn't feel sorry for Huawei for not developing its own chip plant, especially when its domestic semiconductor buddies are continuously increasing. To be honest, no technology company embodies the rising conflict between China and the United States more than Huawei. From restricting Huawei's exports to separating it from the global chipmaker, forcing their allies to ban Huawei from their 5G networks, filing criminal charges against Huawei, and kidnapping one of its executives, the United States' sanctions against the company have been relentless and have severely harmed Huawei's business fortunes. Nonetheless, Huawei is continually and actively changing from a technical standpoint. Indeed, firms may expand in this manner. If you don't have a competitor, you can quickly lose yourself. Huawei has greater coherence and energy now that it has a defined aim. Huawei has enormous potential, and it spent up to $20 billion in R&D last year. Last year, Huawei invested up to $20 billion in R&D, more than many countries combined, and the 5G patent business, in particular, has given substantial profits to the corporation. Huawei has recently disclosed plans for its 2022 chipset, but it is also facing several challenges as a result of technical pressure from the United States. Without the Americans, the Chinese would not have given as much attention to chips, and now that the U.S. has imposed all of these sanctions, every Chinese understands the value of chips, which is why many Chinese are now working to produce them. Without U.S. sanctions, Huawei's Kirin chip can continue to develop, but China may only have Huawei's Kirin chip for a limited time, much as Pepsi would be less successful without Coca-Cola, KFC would be less successful without McDonald's, and Mercedes would be less successful without Mercedes. Mercedes will not be successful until BMW is present. At the end of this video, let us honor our great adversaries. Because of your might, we shall be stronger in the future. That's all for now. Please leave your comments below and share your intelligent ideas with others. Thank you, everyone.